Hey everybody, this is my 55-gallon gourami tank, and right now I'm watching this loach. I actually just put some snails in this tank. There, I finally found one. I threw some in at the other end, and I threw a few in at this end. You can see one off to the right of the screen there, and then there's a couple behind the loach. If you can see those sort of bright spots on the dark substrate, those are some snails I threw in there. And I'm waiting. I've got some skunk loaches in here. You can see that little Angelicus loach right there in the corner is making its way out. I always throw the snails that I have in my puffer tank. In fact, that's why I have a tank specifically for breeding snails, is so that I have a ready supply of snails to feed my puffer. But loaches are specialized snail feeders. In the wild, they absolutely devour snails. They've got little, they're called subocular spines on their face, and they're generally used for defensive purposes, but they can also be used to sort of winkle the meat out of snail shells. I've seen them do it. So it's kind of interesting watching my striped Raphael here. It looks like he's stuck or something. I don't know what he's doing in there, wiggling around, thrashing about. I don't want to move too quickly. I just noticed my Angelicus loach here was checking out one of the snails, but didn't seem that interested in it. Alright, so there the clown loach just found another one. So they usually don't have to worry about using those little spines on their face. They just suck the meat out the same way a puffer does. But I have seen them actually flick those little spikes out and stick it into the meat before. So they really are specialized snail eaters, and you can see how rapidly they're devouring it. So I just thought it would be an interesting little change of diet for them. Instead of throwing all these snails in my puffer tank all the time, my snail tank's really just getting overrun with snails. I've got those stupid ram's horn snails, which is what we're looking at. And they breed like crazy. They actually breed so fast, and I think they might even eat the eggs of the regular old pond snails. And I wind up not even being able to breed the pond snails once those ram's horn snails get to going in my snail tank. Unfortunately, Link's kind of in the way right there. So I threw snails in this tank. I threw snails in this tank, but this was the first tank I threw them in, so the loaches I have in this tank made short work of them. You can see one darting by right there. So there's no more snails left in this tank, I'm sure. Butterbean is actually still in the back of his tank working on another one. I really need to do something with the lighting on this tank. You can see him back there in the darkness. I don't know if like all of the lights aren't lit anymore. I haven't really checked. I haven't done a lot here in the fish room over the last week or so. I haven't been spending much time down here. So I do need to get in here and do something with the lighting. Part of me sort of likes it kind of dimly lit like this. It's kind of neat to see him sort of drift in and out of the shadows. But at the same time, I'd like to have my tank properly lit. And I think right now not all of the lights are lit. Or possibly they're not lit fully. They are LEDs, so if you run lower current through them, they'll just glow dimmer. So it's not like they work or they don't. They might actually be working, but they might not be working up to full juice. So this is where some of the other snails went. And then over here, this tank is where more of the snails went, and I'm not sure why, but my clown loaches in this tank didn't really seem too interested in it. I'm not even seeing them now. This tank is getting a little on the overgrown side. I need to get in there and do a little bit of clearing out. Once again, my water sprite that's floating sprouts so many offspring that it just gets to be, it just blocks the light, and the rest of the tank is just dark. I also need to do a water change on this tank pretty badly, so the tannins are getting pretty thick in here, and that reduces how much light gets into the tank. So it seems really dim, but that's for all those reasons. And again, I'm not sure. Oh, there's one of them. There's my little clown loach in the back, so the big ones must be nearby somewhere if the little one's back there. And now I can actually see, there we go. If we look down through here, we can see my big clown loach back there. So they're still in there. They're just not really interested in those snails I threw in there for some reason. I don't know why. Hopefully I'm not going to have an outbreak of snails in this tank now. I can't imagine having loaches in a tank and then having snails in there too. So anyway, that was it. I got to get back to feeding everybody. I just wanted to do a little video real quick showing everybody that I do feed other fish than just my puffer with those snails, and there is a reason I've got a tank devoted to just growing snails. So thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. This one here is my 125 gallon tank. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you real soon on the next one.